man. I'm here to help Joe present stuff. Hey, Joe. You gonna start or what?
Okay. Anyway, um, I've been fortuitous in that things that I want have been appearing basically by me saying it. So, yeah, yesterday at work, I was all like, I really want the Iron Man Disney Infinity figure because I didn't have it and I was joking about it. And 20 minutes before closing, guess who comes ambling through the door? Mr. Stark himself. I don't know why I'm talking like this. Apparently, Tony Stark, he is Russian now. How are you doing? Okay, talk to the repulsor. Okay. Anyway, Joe here, and I have a few pickups to show you guys. Now, I went out this weekend, and I found some stuff, and I'm only keeping maybe 8 or 9 things out of this whole thing, if that, maybe that. I doubt even that many, maybe only like 4 things. And I went out with a specific mission. Now, when times are better, I'll just go out and buy whatever I think looks pretty because that's when I'm feeling, awesome. But right now, it's more of a conservation of money and investment period. So, what I did was I went out and spent about 30 bucks. Not a bad way to, go hunting, especially considering after you see what I got. And when I'm done, we'll go over the totals. So, let's try to be in order of where I went. So, I went to my local flea market, the one where I got like the DS games for $5 each because that guy never knows what he's talking about. Well, there wasn't a whole lot this weekend because they were promising rain all week, and then, of course, it didn't rain, so that was kind of a buzzkill. So I went and picked up a few things. Not a whole lot of stuff. There wasn't a whole lot that I really wanted for me, but I picked up a few things, and the reason why I haven't showed them to you yet is because I'm trying to organize them because I've already filmed this once, but once again I had the fan going, and when the fan goes, it kills almost all the sound. So yeah, let's see. I think I've got it all now. So one guy, and he's been out there a few times. I think he's just a private guy who just buys estates or storage lockers or things like that. He doesn't always have games, but when he does, I usually pick something up. Now these are Sega Saturn games, and I don't have a Saturn right now, although my buddy said he'd sell me one with 2 controllers for 40 bucks, and it's not a bad deal, so I'm going to consider it. But these are those little paper disc holders. This one is the, Nights into Dreams sampler disc, and it was $1, so that's the reason I picked it up. Otherwise, I would have passed. And I actually passed on a boxed Saturn game, World Series baseball, because I have the game loose, so there's no reason to buy the case, especially since you wanted $5. These next two are for my not for resale collection. One is Daytona USA. As you can see, it says right on the case, not for resale. And the games are in very good condition, so if I ever do pick up a Saturn, I'll be able to play them. And the other one is Virtua Fighter 2. And again, not for resale. So that's cool. So $1 a piece. I always pick up games if they're $1 and I don't have them, especially if they're not for resales. I went to walk around a little bit because I got there a little bit early and people hadn't finished setting up yet. So I needed to kill, 20, 30 minutes. So I went walking around and I found another booth where this guy had some games. PlayStation games, again, if they're $1, I'll pick them up just because I want them for my collection. You got Williams Arcade Greatest Hits. This basically has a bunch of like the Atari games. Defender, Defender 2, Joust, Robotron. So, if you ever get really bored and you want to play an old game, you should pick up some of these collections because this will play on a PS3 and PS2, obviously. For $1, I got Test Drive 6. Probably will never play it, but I was always a Viper fan. because I grew up in a Chrysler family. You can put all the hate you want. And I know I'm an idiot, but whatever. You know, they make some good cars. He had it marked for $3, but I only had four singles, so he gave this to me for $2 plus the other two for $1 each. Bad Boys Miami Takedown. Why'd I pick it up? Because I have never heard of it before. And it probably sucks, but I figured I'd give it a playthrough. Speaking of which, tell me what you guys think I should do. Should I do a Let's Play of some games and be all kind of animated and weird and shite? Or should I just do reviews where I just play the game start to finish, and then just do a voiceover, or just do a review without actually showing gameplay? I haven't decided yet. I'll figure it out. So there really wasn't that much going on. I really needed a PS3 controller because I've been using an aftermarket, and I had that white one that I picked up, but it doesn't work right, so I said screw that. So as I was leaving, I stopped by this one booth. I'd stopped there before, but he had just started putting things out from winter storage, so the place was horrendously messy. But this time it was actually a little bit cleaner, so I was able to go through some more stuff. And for $1, I got SOCOM 3 Navy SEALs, and the only reason I picked it up is because it's actually complete and in really good shape. And for $1, again, it's $1. You got to pick it up. And then the thing that I like the most from this weekend is for $4.50. He had it marked at $9, but he sold it to me for half price. Is a boxed copy of NBA Jam. Now there's a little bit of box damage, but that is not terrible, and it doesn't matter because it's not like I'm going to try to resell this. But the reason I got it, and he had a couple other box games, but that was the only one that was, worth $4. And it is worth at least $4, especially when you consider it is absolutely complete. It's got the manual, the Nintendo insert, the precauciones. It even has the poster in the bag, as well as the postcard, the thing you send away for the warranty. So, yeah, the insert's actually in good shape. And then, Jesus Christmas, I don't think this thing has ever been played. I wish I gotta get an HD camcorder, and that's on my list this month. But this thing is this is like a brand new cart. I literally don't think it's ever been in a machine. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go out and throw it in the dirt. I'm just kidding. But, yeah, I need a new Super Nintendo as well. I noticed something. My Nintendo system library is decidedly lacking because all I have is a Wii and a GameCube. And most people will be like, you really don't need anything more than that. But, it's one of those things where I didn't actually own a Super Nintendo when I was a kid. My father was a, let's get him a Sega because it was cheaper guy. And that's cool. I actually liked it. Jurassic Park on Sega was freaking awesome. But it also was when I realized that I'm not a hardcore gamer for consoles like a lot of people are. It was about that time that we got our first Pentium computer. It was I still remember it. It was a Packard Bell Pentium 75, and it was like $3,000. And we were the shit in our neighborhood because it had dual CD-ROMs. But yeah, $3,000 back in the day. $3,000. You know what kind of computer I could build for $3,000? I could build a computer that's worth $3,000 for about 5 minutes, and then it'll be worth about $200 the next day. But anyway, moving on. In a box, he had a couple of Xbox 360 controllers. I know they're just white ones. He sold them to me untested for $5. $5. Hold on one second. Okay, for some reason I thought the recording stopped, but we're okay. I have tested them. They do work, which basically means these are going to become trade fodder. So if I need to get a game from somebody that I know that needs a controller or whatever, I've got extras because obviously I've got a few. I got a few. I was all being all stealthy squirrel, being like, oh, he's going to pick up even more, but The second controller stand I have doesn't hold the controllers real well. But yeah, like I was saying, I've got a few controllers. Plus my play controller and my extra controller. So yeah. These are what usually lead me to extra stuff. So for $5 for two of them, couldn't pass that up. So I left there, stopped by this little thrift store that I see every now and then. It's kind of on my way into work, and they never have a lot, but sometimes he has a couple of gems. Like every now and then he'll pick up like Wii Sports, and then he'll sell it to me for $1, and it still trades in for like $7. So there is still money out there. For $1.50, and the only reason I paid $1.50 is because I personally have never heard of this game. It's Car and Driver presents Grand Tour Racing. I'll give it a shot. I don't know what it's about, but I'll give it a shot. And then I've passed on this game multiple times, and today, or not today, yesterday, I decided to just finally buy it. And it's Shrek Fairy Tale Freakdown. Freakdown? That doesn't make a lot of sense, Mr. Shrek guy. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. So yeah, that was $1.50 as well. And it'd just been sitting on his counter for ages, and I just gave up and finally picked it up. So then I went to Charlestown, which is about 30 minutes away from the other flea market, because they always advertise, oh, we have great stuff, we have this, we have that. Oh my God, it sucked. And again, I don't know if it was because of the weather or because it just wasn't a big weekend, but this place sucked. I mean, SUCKET sucked. I literally barely walked through it once. It was no reason to. It looked like someone's front lawn had a bunch of squatters on it, and those squatters were selling the crap they took out of the garbage that belonged to the guy's house whose lawn they were squatting on. Does that make sense? Alright. So then I go to Mercerburg, Pennsylvania. That's about an hour drive from me. And the only reason I went is because I realized I hadn't been there since the last time it snowed. So there must have been stuff. And thankfully, there was. So here's a few things I picked up.
And this'll teach you. Just keep watching. This'll teach you. Uncle Joe's gonna teach you some shit. Okay. Now the story of the Princess Bride.
For $1, I got Wing Commander 4. It's DVD interactive. Now, what this is dwiz dwaz the wood dwa ween the band the bingado wee the bing ding ding wee hee hee hee. Shit. It's what I get for having a personality. No, anyways, this game was released a long ass time ago on CD-ROM, and it was like a 5-disc set or 4-disc set. This game, if you're not familiar, was a space fighter game starring Mark Hamill, Tom Wilson, and even has Casper Van Dien in it for a scene or two, and Malcolm McDowell. So a lot of really A-list names of the time were in this game, and it was an awesome game, but it was designed only to run on Windows 95. Well, this version is the DVD collection of it, but it does look like it still plays right, so that is cool. And on top of all that, I didn't notice until I was just looking at it, this is a not for resale, so I like that. I'm not sure if this came with a bigger set or something, but there you go. Much better than the frickin' movie that came out. No offense to Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard, but it didn't at all follow the game. So I much prefer this, and the acting in the game was better than the acting in the movie anyways. And then I'm walking through on my way to my favorite vendor at that place, and what do I find? Only the greatest frickin' movie ever when you're a 14-year-old kid. The Sure Thing, starring John Cusack. Yeah, a buddy of mine had the VHS, and I literally, and you can ask my father about this, I literally had this playing almost every second I was awake between like 14 and 15 years old. So, yeah. And not just because it's got Nicolette Sheridan in a bikini, but because it's just so bizarre in the acting that I had to pick this up for $1. And I highly recommend it. If you guys can find this for $1, get it. I plan on watching this today before work. So, yeah. Sorry. I know that was a little off topic, but holy crap, that's a fun movie. Alright. For $1, I picked up Brain Age 2. See, $1. I know you're asking, hey, dip crap, why would you buy that for $1? It's because if you remember, I had this case, which is a not for resale case. However, I didn't have the game like I thought I did. I had Brain Age, I didn't have Brain Age 2. So, for $1, I now have a complete one. Because the game is just a regular game. This was just a pack-in with, I think, if you got Brain Age 1 and Brain Age 2 and something else. So, yeah, the game inside was identical. So, now I got it complete. I don't like to put empty, not for resale cases up. So, for $1, now there's this crazy old guy, and that's the self-descriptor, not mine. I'm going to take it out of here. But for $1, I got both Grand Theft Auto 3 Black Label loose, and I have a case, and Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. Now, he had $2 marked on this, yet he had it in the plastic bag with the other game for $1. So, he took $1. I'm not going to say no to that. For another $1, I got a complete John Madden 92. Why? Okay, because it was $1 and it's complete, and it's another one of those where if you look at this, well, obviously it's a sports game, that's probably why it's never been played, but it's in really good shape. And again, I just don't see the point in passing on a game that's this old, that's this complete. It's got one little tear in the plastic, that's its worst thing. So, you know, you got to preserve our video game heritage and history. And yes, it's a sports title. Yes, it sucks, but it's still getting older. And as stuff gets older, it gets rarer. As it gets rarer, it gets more expensive. So pick stuff up now when it's $1 or 50 cents or even a couple of bucks, because down the road, even Sega stuff will go the same route as Nintendo. Because if you go and pick up regular NES games, they're what, $3, $4, $5 just for the cheap ass titles now. It's unfortunately a trend that will never change, especially as we move away from disc-based and cartridge-based media into digital download only. What are you going to do with that? You know, in the future, you're going to have, you know, one of these that has your entire video game library on it, and this isn't worth anything. I mean, it's worth what it's worth. It's a 64 gigabyte, excuse me, this one's only 16 gig. I got a 64 gigabyte. But this is just a 16 gigabyte flash drive. What is this, a $9 flash drive? I mean, where's the fun in that? You can't go, here you go, grandson. I've been holding on to this for 47 years. On here is a copy of Uncharted 4 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Now let's just play. What do you mean you don't have a USB adapter?
Grandpa, it's all digital downloads to your brain now. You're so old-fashioned. That's a baby's toy.
So, sorry, I'll get off my high horse. Get off. For $1, and again, it's because it's getting older. I got Triple Play 97. Actually, it's because it's getting older and I don't have it. But it's in the plastic long box, but as you can see, the cardboard is peeled a little bit. But the cardboard is in good shape, so all I need to do is clean up where the adhesive went, reapply some adhesive, and put it back on there. No manual, but whatever. For $1, I'll take it. And then, just because, Grand Theft Auto 2. Now, this is the last of the top-down Grand Theft Autos, and I don't know if I'm alone in this. I hope I'm not, and I doubt I am, but did you guys ever play it, and as you're going around buildings, you start kind of moving your head to try to see around the buildings, even though it's top-down 2D? No? Okay. So, pretty much, all the older stuff, the PlayStation, the Sega, stuff like that, that's all stuff I'm keeping. Now, everything else except for the last two things I'm going to show you, well, maybe even just the last one because I've got extras. Yeah, everything except for the last one thing I'm going to show you, I'm trading in today because this will make me plenty of money, make up for everything I spent, as well as I'm going to apply it towards gasoline. And I know I say it a lot. Why do I do that? Why do I do that? Why do you always mention gasoline? Why do you talk about that? Because collecting video games, going out, this shit ain't free, okay? I drove almost 200 miles yesterday. Now, in my car, that's 10 gallons of fuel. And I use premium, so that's almost $30 in fuel I spent yesterday. Now, if I hadn't traded stuff in before, I would have had to pay for that out of pocket. But because I used some trades from last week to buy $90 worth of cards on $30 worth of stuff, kind of just like I'm doing this week, all that gasoline was paid for. So all I really wasted was my time. So keep that in mind, guys. And that's what I do. That's how I do it. And it's how you guys should do it too. Unless you're rich and you can just afford to go out and spend hundreds of dollars a week, good for you. But most of us can't. So for $5, I got a PS3 controller. Now, I may not trade this in just because I need it for my PS3 because I don't have a first party. Because I don't play PS3 much, so I figured I'd just use a third party controller. But I changed the hard drive, and you need a first party controller to get it all loaded up. Pardon me, I didn't mean to burp just then. Now, all these things were in that booth that I talked about a long time ago where he just brings hundreds of video games, leaves them there, and then you can pick through them. And he had some stuff I didn't pick up, and I think I'm going to have to go back. But I was needing to hurry because I had to go to work. But for these were half price, so they say $4, so it was $2. He had NBA Street Home Court. Believe it or not, trades in for like $7. For $2, I got Naruto Rise of a Ninja. Also trades in for like $8. Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga. Believe it or not, guys, so go through your collection, especially if you had a nephew or a niece or a son or a daughter that played them but don't play them anymore. $11. Blazing Angels, $4. This one is probably the least profitable one out of all of them, but it still makes me a few bucks. EA Sports Fight Night Round 3. I don't really care for 3 anymore. I prefer 2. And then I also prefer Champion over 3. Personal choice. But it's still, $6 for $2. That's tripling my money. Another quadruple on investment. Batman the video game. Lego Batman, I mean. This actually trades in for more than number 2 does. So, I know the case is bad, but, you trade them in a GameStop. They don't care about cases. You don't even need one, so. I got this one for $1 because I convinced him it was only worth $1. Madden 15. It's $4 trade-in, so, I still did okay. Spec Ops The Line. And it was just because I got it cheap and it trades in for $5. And then this is the one I'm going to keep. Call of Duty Black Ops. Now, I keep running into copies of this out in the wild, and I buy every single one. And here's why, guys. As I've told you before, like 2 weeks ago, Call of Duty Black Ops went backwards compatible on Xbox One. Now, I know you're saying big frickin' whoop-de-doo, who gives a crap? Xbox 360 was HDMI anyway, so it looks good. But by putting it on your Xbox One, you're using the updated Xbox Live, and you're using newer servers, and you're using more reliable servers. And let's face it, the Xbox One is much more powerful than the Xbox 360 was, so it's going to run better. However, the demand has been much higher than even I thought it was going to be. I figured, obviously we're going to sell some because, it's a new gen, next gen with old stuff on it. However, I didn't expect it to go as high as it did. It was originally selling for $8.99. So of all the Call of Duties, it was actually one of the more expensive ones on 360. But right now, if you go into GameStop, it's $25. I got it for $2.50, but it's $25. and we still sell them. Are you kidding me? Right? So my tip to you, if you are going to go to a GameStop to try to buy this game, buy the brand new combo pack, which has Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and 2 for $20, and you'll get a $15 DLC card inside of it of the brand new copy for $20. So use your brains, kids. And then you'll have Black Ops 2 as well. Whether or not you like it is up to you. So there you go. One last thing I want to show you, and that is just a game that I've been playing, and I want to rant against the next gen version. So this is Undisputed 3 UFC. I'm just borrowing this one. I haven't bought it yet, and I'm not going to because I know I can get it for 1/3 the price. This is superior to UFC 2 on Xbox One by far. I don't know if any of you have played UFC 2 on Xbox One. I literally deleted it off my hard drive after about 5 minutes. Now, I know you're probably sitting there going, well, why would you do that? That's not enough time. You didn't allow yourself to get into it. I couldn't beat the first character because the hit detection is horrendous. The opponents are massively OP. Now, let me tell you something, or let me rant about this for a second. I don't know how many of you have ever gone to a UFC fight or played a UFC game or know how the UFC works. But even a amateur fighter in UFC is going to fight better than a 12-year-old girl in a bathroom of a middle school, which is how your character fights at the beginning of UFC 2. You can barely connect. You're very slow. The hit detection is so bad that 90% of my punches weren't even getting within a foot of the other person. Yet every time they moved, they would shoot across the screen. So where's the fairness in that? Who at that professional level is that slow? What they did is they went the money route and the let's appease everybody route by trying to make a very good looking game. And I will admit, it looks incredible, but it plays like poop. Get this one if you want to play a UFC game, at least until they fix the other one, hopefully with like another game. So is that about it? I think that's about it. So yeah, like I said, hunting pays off if you know what you're doing. If you're just a collector, that's one thing. If you're a collector, hunter, reseller, that's another thing. If you're like me, where I only sell what I need to make sure that my collection is for free, that's what I do. So yeah, like we were talking about, I'm going to keep the Black Ops, but everything else will probably be, I mean, just these games will be like $35-$40 plus another 20 or 15, 20 for that. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy, and that's about it. Oh, I did promise I'd show you this, so I'm going to show you it. It's going to take me a second because I have to move a stack of games that are supporting you. So, hey, you guys have vertigo? You okay?